Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of CSS Fonts and Font Families, and in this episode I'm gonna go through Google Fonts and the font shorthand property. So let's get into it. So by going to Google and typing in Google Fonts, we can go ahead and find this website. So if you don't want to use any of the standard fonts in HTML, we can use Google Fonts. Google Fonts are free to use and there's more than 1000 fonts to choose from. So let's get in here. The link is fonts.google.com. Alright, now here we can see a lot of different font styles. I'm gonna select some of this or one of these. Let's see which one looks good. Let's take this one. Alright, Arvo. Alright, so we have the font. Now we can go over here and see the... Oh, wait a moment. Let's get back and click Get Font. Okay. Now that we have clicked the Get Font, we have this one font family right over here. It's the Arvo family. One way we can do it is to download it. So we can download it onto the website, or in this case to the computer and to the files, and we can load it in from there using a link tag, or we can go and click the embed code, and basically we are going to put this piece of code right over here inside of the head tag of our HTML. So let's paste it right over here. There we go. And reformat. There we go. Alright, so we got three link elements. The first one connects to fonts.googleapis.com. Then this one is the next one, and this one is the font itself. Alright. So now we can use this font called Arvo. So let's try to do that. Font family Arvo. Alright, and it seems to be working. So now all of the text on my page is using the font family that we just got from Google Fonts. There's also another way to do this. So we can use the @import tag. So let's copy this line of code. Ctrl C. Let's get back over here. We can also, now we don't need these lines anymore. Alright. There we go. And we can also do it inside of the CSS style sheet. So we can write @import and URL, and the URL is going to be the URL. So basically this import URL, and then here we got the font. And once again, our font family called Arvo is working, as you can see on the website. So yeah, there's two different ways to import these Google fonts, and it's up to you whether you want to use the import tag or the @import inside of CSS, or use the link element in your head section of the HTML file. So that's completely up to you. And like usual, we should use a backup font, so comma, and use a backup of sans serif. So if this fails to load for some reason, we will at least have the backup font of sans serif. But let's put it back. Alright. if you want to use multiple Google fonts, you can import them like this or put them inside of your head element in the HTML. Keep in mind that requesting multiple fonts may slow down your web page, so keep that in mind. So if you're using like 100 different Google fonts, that will definitely slow down the speed of your website. And like always, of course, we can style our Google fonts as we like with CSS by using these values. Font style can be bold. I mean the font weight can be bold. There's a colon missing. There we go. Now it's bold. The font style can be italic. Or we can change this to be oblique, which is basically the same. Or we can set it to be normal. So yeah. Then we can use the small caps or not use the small caps. So yeah, we can use all the different font styling properties that we learned about in the previous episode with Google Fonts as well, of course. Now in Google Fonts we also have a very cool thing which is called font effects. So Google has enabled different font effects that we can use. For example, I'm gonna go and search for a font called Sophia. There we go. I'm gonna select the font and here we go. We got a sample of that. Then I'm gonna go and get the embed code. So here we go. I'm going to take only this line. Actually, I'm gonna take all of these. There we go. And I'm gonna paste them in here again. And reformat with tab. There we go. So right over here, I'm already using the font family Sophia in here. Let's add a backup of sans serif. There we go. Okay, this looks pretty cool. Alright, so I'm gonna show you the font effects. So right over here, we have the family equals Sophia. And then we have display equals swap. Now we can change this to be, for example, effect equals fire. And then we can add a class into here, for example, class equals font effect fire. And just a moment. Okay, I'm actually going to remove these lines. There we go. And I'm gonna go back to Google Fonts. There we go. And let's search for the font Sophia again. Here we go. And let's get the font, get the embed code, and alright, this time I'm going to use the import. I'm gonna copy this line, go back to Visual Studio Code, and I'm gonna import the font. Okay, the font is working again. However, I want to use the fire effect. I'm gonna remove this class for now. I went to Google Fonts and I clicked on the API docs, and here's a There's some kind of an update that has come out, so we are using CSS version 2 right now or something like that. And this doesn't really work anymore the way that it used to, but I'm gonna show you one example of this font effect thing that I wanted to show you. So let's go back to Visual Studio Code, and I am going to change this to be googleapis.com/css. I'm gonna remove the number 2 from there, and then I'm gonna make the family equals Sophia and effect equals fire. Alright, then we can use the class, for example, on the h1 element, class equals font effect fire, and now you can see the difference. So basically that's how it works. I gotta get into more detail about how the Google Fonts has changed, because I couldn't find this from anywhere on the website. But basically how this works is that we first add the effect equals the effect's name to the Google API, which is right over here. And then we add a special class name to the element that we want to use this special effect on. The class name always starts with font dash effect dash, and it will end with the effect name, which in this case is fire. So font dash effect dash fire. So there we go, we got it on our h1 element. I'm gonna get into this more detail. The Google Fonts has changed a little bit, but I just wanted to show you this. And also we know how to get the new fonts without these different special effects. So at least that's simple and hasn't changed. We can also add multiple different effects over here. So let's say effect equals fire, then use the pipe character, this one right over here. And then let's say neon pipe character, outline pipe character, emboss pipe character, and shadow dash multiple. Alright, now all these effects are being imported. So let's use the neon first. Font dash effect dash neon. That's what it looks like. Then we will use the next one, which is outline. We have outline, emboss, and shadow multiple. Let's use the outline. It looks like that. Then emboss, it looks like that. And then we have shadow multiple. It looks like that. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm gonna stick with the neon one. That looks good. So yeah, we can import multiple different effects, and we just need to separate them with a pipe character like that. So yeah, that's how the special font effects on Google Fonts work. Alright, then I'm gonna show you the shorthand property for CSS fonts. So like usual, we also have a shorthand property for fonts. So I'm gonna remove all of these. There we go. And I'm gonna type in font colon, and I'm gonna say first I'm gonna apply the font style. Let's use italic. Then I'm gonna use font variant. That's gonna be small caps. then it's going to, the font weight will be bold. Then the font size is going to be 16 pixels. And then I'm gonna add a forward slash. And this other value is going to be the line height. Let's set it to be 30 pixels. Alright. And then lastly, we declare the font family. In this case, I'm gonna use Sophia with the backup of sans serif. So there we go. I'm gonna actually use a different font family. I'm gonna use this one to make this more clear. So the italic, you can see a difference. The small caps, you can see a difference. The bold, you can see a difference. Then we have this. This is for the font size. Let's make it 24. Now it's pretty big. Let's keep it at 16. This is for the line height. Let's make 30 to be 50. Now you can see that the line heights are a lot more taller. And then there's the font as the last value. So yeah, I'm gonna go with italic, small, caps, bold, 16 pixels, 30 pixels, sans serif. So yeah, the way that this basically works is that you first write in the font is font style, then font variant, and then font weight, and then you type in font size and line height and the font family. So here we go. So the font style is italic, the font variant is small caps, the font weight is bold, the font size and the line height is 16 pixels for the font size and 30 pixels for the line height, and the font family is sans serif. So yeah, that's how these work. So this is the shorthand property for CSS fonts. Alright, anyways, I hope you learned something new in this episode. This is gonna be it for this one. And yeah, I hope I'm gonna see you guys in the next episode or some other video on the channel, and I wish happy learning to every one of you, and I hope you learned something new in this episode. And yeah, happy learning, and see you later everybody. Bye bye and have a wonderful day.